go over some potting basics and everything you need to know about potting and soil for your houseplants. First of all, there are different types of pots that you could put your plants in. A lot of that includes clay or terracotta pots, plastic pots, or ceramic pots, which typically are shiny, glossy, and have like a sealant coating on them. So, clay pots are super porous and have good airflow and a really cool, chic look. But some of the bad things are that they're heavy, and the number one bad thing about clay, especially terracotta pots, is that they dry out quickly. This is why you see succulents in terracotta pots because they are okay drying out. If you put a regular plant in a terracotta pot, you're going to need to monitor it and watch it and water it more frequently than you otherwise might. And I have found that these kind of pots also kind of like leach water, so water will soak out through the pot, so it can leave a water ring if you're putting it on a wood table. So that's something just to watch out for. I only use clay or terracotta pots for succulents or plants that don't mind being very dry because it is so easy for them to dry out otherwise. The next type of pot is plastic pots. I love using plastic pots because they're lightweight, they hold in moisture, and they're usually really cheap. A lot of plastic pots have a sort of built-in drip tray on the bottom that you can either use or remove depending on your watering situation. I always remove those outdoors because if a plant's going to get rained on, it could flood really easily. But indoors, sometimes they're nice. Plastic pots do not have airflow, and they can look less natural. They can be just kind of ugly sometimes. There are good looking plastic pots, but some of the cheap ones are just ugly. But if you don't care, that's totally fine. And I've also been known to spray paint a cheap plastic pot to make it go with my decor just on a super tight budget. They're best for plants that like to stay wet, and if you can't lift or carry a heavy pot, just don't have the strength, then definitely go with plastic. And if you're on a budget, then plastic is the way to go also. My personal favorite type of pot to use for houseplants is a ceramic pot. You just want to make sure that it has drainage holes in the bottom or that you're keeping your plant in the plastic nursery pot that it came in and nestling that inside a ceramic pot just so that it's not holding on to too much moisture and flooding the plant. Ceramic pots are usually just really beautiful. If they're glazed, they will retain moisture and just lots of really chic and pretty designs to match whatever decor style you have. The biggest drawback is that they can be very heavy and they can break if you drop them. So if that's an issue, then they're not a good fit for you. Ceramic pots can also be crazy expensive. I'm always mind blown at what garden centers are charging for pots. If you want ceramic pots, I really suggest you check places like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods. They have really good ones in the summer for very fair prices. Also, consider checking somewhere like Goodwill. I've been known to go get big ceramic canisters like that are meant to hold flour, sugar, and drill drainage holes in the bottom and use those for plants. And they usually look really nice, and you would never know that it wasn't meant to be a pot. So I do love a ceramic pot. Don't forget, when you pick a pot, you also need to pick the right size pot, not just the right material. So you want the pot to be proportional to the plant's size. Of course, if it's too small, your plant will get root bound, it will slow down its growth, and it can get withered and can actually die, depending on the plant type. Too large of a plant can hold excess water pooling in the bottom, and just think of like if your plant just has a little section of roots and a lot of dirt with no roots, then kind of the water, what are the odds that the water hits the roots? You know what I mean? Like you want the water to get to the roots so the plant can absorb it. But if the roots are not in even 50% of the soil, they're much less likely to be able to access the water, and plants can actually dry out and dehydrate just because a pot is too big and it's not reaching the water, even if you're watering it fine. You want to choose a pot that allows a room for growth, so you don't want to shove the roots into a pot. I mean, we've all done it, but it's not ideal for your plant to be long term. And you want to repot as needed when a plant outgrows its current pot. For most plants, it's every year, maybe every 2 years. They like to move up a pot size, and one size would be an increase in diameter of 1 to 2 inches. Finally, make sure that your pot has adequate drainage holes. This will keep your plant from waterlogging, getting root rot. Super important that you have drainage in there. And I have a video showing how we drill drainage holes in our pots.